Hello, everybody. I am coming to you today from the chapel in St. Martin de Porres House for day one of e-learning. I'm sure you're all so excited. So, we have finished up really all of the fundamentals on virtue and a life of flourishing. We've gone through the virtues, cardinal, theological. We've gone into the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and then the Beatitudes. What does a flourishing person really look like in the end? And soon and very soon, we're going to get to the essay on that, so you don't have to wait too much longer. But one last thing to throw in before we get there, and then before we get to medical ethics next week. Sin. What is it? How does it fit into this whole big picture? Because most people think morality is all about sin. It's about not doing what's wrong. And for Aquinas, remember, that's not exactly the case. That, in fact, morality is first and foremost about how do I flourish? How do I live a good life? And what do I need to do for that? And sin is just the exception to it. It's the how have I failed at it? And so we do need to pay attention to it because it does kind of service that roadmap of, no, this is where I've strayed from the path. But it's not what it's all about, right? And in fact, we have been doing this throughout. We've been talking about different vices. So before you do a reading on this, and then a bowling frame and another video to watch later, first I want you to keep a couple things in mind, right? So a sin is not a vice. It's an action. It's a specific thing that you did wrong, right? A vice would be something like, if you watch Friends, Joey has the vice of lust. I think it's pretty safe to say that. He's a kind guy, he's got a lot of good qualities, but he's a womanizer, right? Actually hitting on a woman, that's different. That's a particular action. But the disposition is the question of vice, right? So a sin, we're talking about a specific thing that someone did. So keep that straight as you read and watch different videos, okay? Next up, a sin is not a temptation. You might, in fact, be tempted to text right now while you're watching this. Cade, put your phone down. But if you don't do it, it's just a thing that you feel, right? And so passions are there, and they can be problematic. They might lead us astray. You might feel like you want to do something that you know isn't good for you. But if you hear it and you recognize it and you don't do it, you haven't done anything wrong, right? So a temptation and a sin are two very different things, right? So keep that in mind. Last but not least, remember, this is always, at the end of the day, about flourishing, right? Sin is not about walking around feeling like, oh, I'm such a horrible, horrible person. And as the reading you'll see gets into this sense that, no, realizing sin is good for us, right? It is a moment of accountability in who we are and who we're trying to become. But it is, at the end of the day, just the side note to it, that we really want to focus on what is happiness? How do we get there? Right? Okay. That's enough for now. You'll see the list on Schoology of other things that you need to do to get started today, so work your way through. And you'll be seeing me again. Hopefully I'll see you all at some point. Take care, God bless, and don't sin.